Politics is built on a foundation of equity for all people. Now, I know that we are trying to undermine that for blacks and browns and LGBTQ and women and all sorts of disenfranchised communities here in the state of Oklahoma. But while we are here as white men in this office, we all deserve to see the naked women. Shout out to all of the subscribers and members here on the channel. Don't forget to like the video. I am Reese Waters, and this is Who Raised Y'all, where we highlight those unique individuals going above and beyond to make society worse.
Let's hope someday the military steps up.
What would you like the military to do?
I'd like them to go in and wipe out Washington, D.C.
I'd like them to go in and wipe out Washington, D.C.
You want the military to wipe out Washington, D.C.?
Absolutely. They're all corrupt.
You know, the kinds of people you'll see asking to speak to the manager at the pearly gates.
I want to talk to the manager.
Hey, Oklahoma State Superintendent Ryan Walters, this you?
And instead of allowing Biden and the unions to inject their ideology through graphic pornography like genderqueer and flamer, we want the Constitution, we want the Bible in our schools where kids understand our nation's history and what has made this country great.
So you actually want to not put the Bible in schools, but teach from the Bible in schools, which is something which I think the Supreme Court ruled against many, many years ago.
Yes, sir, and we need to take a look at this. The reality is the Bible is a foundational document in our country's history. Read the founders, read their letters, listen to what these men and women said about why founding a country with the freedom of religion, the free exercise of religion was so important.
And yet, here we go. Oklahoma's MAGA superintendent who demanded Bibles in class faces investigation after TV in his office shows a woman's truth. Oklahoma's Trump-loving top school official, known for mandating Bibles in every classroom, is now facing an investigation after a woman's truth was seen on TVs in his office, according to reports. You was using the TVs? With your laptop don't got a monitor? You gotta be a special kind of comfortable to use the TVs. They didn't develop the incognito tab for nothing. What should have been a mundane Oklahoma State Board of Education executive session Thursday turned shocking after board members saw a woman's truth appear on a TV screen behind Ryan Walters. I need to really figure out a good way of saying that, because I know YouTube just waiting. They waiting in the closet to pop out on me. You know what I mean? I know they waiting. They waiting like my parents used to wait outside my door after I locked it in the middle of the afternoon and got suspiciously silent in my teens.
He's out of line, but he's right.
They waiting like I used to wait for the Spice Channel to unscramble for 2 to 3 seconds so I could get a peep.
Stop it. Get some help.
Now, the state Senate has launched a corn probe. Oh, y'all don't gotta worry about that. Y'all don't gotta worry about a whole probe. The answer is interracial. Yeah, the hub already did a probe into your state. Matter of fact, the whole region. The answer is interracial. Senate President pro tempore Lonnie Paxton told Oklahoma Voice that leadership at the agency is working through proper channels to initiate the investigation. This is a bizarre and troubling situation that raises serious questions about the events and what took place during yesterday's executive session at the Oklahoma State Board of Education meeting. The accounts made public by board members paint a strange, unsettling scene that demands clarity and transparency. It's not immediately clear who was responsible for showing the women. Some board members said Walters was facing away from the TV during the meeting. He was facing away from the TV. because he knows what that TV's used for. That's that silent shame. That's what that is. That was the judgment that comes from the inside. His spokesman told the Oklahoman, any number of people have access to these offices. You have a hostile board who will say and do anything except tell the truth. And now the Oklahoman is reporting on the alleged random TV cable image. Ah, yes, the part where we attack the messenger. I see somebody has gone to the Pete Hegseth School of Denial. Yeah, where it's their fault that appeared on your television. And granted, Lord knows you just bring all sorts of people all through it. You realize my office is part of the public tour. You know, when people come, anytime somebody comes to the state of Oklahoma, we offer them a tour through my office. So they could have been, you know what I mean? That could have been anybody. And we just welcome the Sooners to celebrate their mediocre season last year. We welcome them to come through. So you know how college kids get. It could have been, you know.
Begin tonight at 6 o'clock with more reactions coming in after a bombshell report from the Oklahoman. 2 board members of the Oklahoma State Board of Education say during executive session they saw images of a naked woman on a TV screen, and this was in Superintendent Ryan Walters' office.
News 4's Abigail Franklin joins us now with some new reactions. Abigail.
A number of Oklahoma lawmakers have weighed in on this already. House Speaker Kyle Hilbert, calling for an investigation into this matter and even asking for Walters to turn over his devices.
Hey, Ryan, we're going to have to get them devices, man. But you know what? On the bright side, there's a future, Anthony, because my parents took my devices when I was in my teens. Yeah, they took everything. Matter of fact, my dad took my door off the hinges. He did. Showers became an hour long. It was a dark time. But look at me now. I got all my devices.
Tonight we're hearing for the first time from the 3rd board member who was in that room as this unfolded. Chris Van Danahan says he did see the TV, but not specifically what was on it. After his fellow board members confirmed what was on the screen, he's calling for a possible impeachment.
Something clearly was on that TV that shouldn't have been on that TV. Why it was on, I don't know. And I suppose possibly the state legislature could begin impeachment proceedings.
We reached out again today for a statement from the Department of Education in response to the original report on the Oklahoman. A spokesperson from the office says this is, quote, a junk tabloid lie.
Shocking allegations coming out of the state capitol against a man who has campaigned on keeping porn out of Oklahoma's public schools.
Edmond Public Schools is fighting to keep pornography on their shelves and are challenging our rule to keep pornography out of the classroom. This is unbelievable.
2 members of the Oklahoma State Board of Education tell Fox 23 News they saw explicit images of 2 women play out on a TV screen connected to a computer inside State Superintendent Ryan Walters' office during Thursday's executive session.
Ah, yes, connected to a computer. So, Ryan, we're going to have to work on that excuse, that whole, like, anybody has access to, because it was, so somebody came in and connected the computer and played. So somebody broke into your office and got so comfortable, not only did they decide to enjoy themselves, they decided to make themselves at home, so to speak. That's what we're going with.
Stop the cap.
I have heard of people breaking into houses and making a sandwich. I've heard of taking a shower. I've heard of taking a nap. I've never heard of connecting the laptop to the television and having your way with yourself. That's a new one. That is, we gonna call that the Oklahoman.
Brother, Board member Ryan Deathridge tells Fox 23, quote, yes, I saw nude women. Board member Becky Carson says in a statement to Fox 23, quote, I was appointed to the State Board of Education to serve Oklahoma students to the best of my ability. The images that board members were exposed to yesterday in this meeting were shocking and at the very least inappropriate. There has to be accountability.
I'm sorry. She gave a whole statement. She gave a whole statement framing this entire episode. My man said, yes, I saw nude. I seen it. He's just, he's like, hey, I can't formulate no more words at this time. Come back to me in 10 or 15 minutes. I'll have a statement.
Fox 23 has also spoken with board members Mike Tinney and Chris Vandehand, who were also in the room. Vandehand says he did not see the images because his back was turned to the TV during the meeting, but Carson and Dethridge shared their concerns with him after the meeting, and he says he believes them. Tinney tells Fox 23 he also could not see the screen from where he was sitting, but at one point during the meeting, Carson stood up, pointed at the screen, and said repeatedly, "I see naked women, I see naked women." Tinney then says Walter stood up, said that's not supposed to be there, and turned off the images.
There has to be footage of this meeting somewhere. There has to be footage. My man stood up and said, I see naked women like we in the Sixth Sense or something. Is that really what happened? And you know, the couple of people that didn't see it, you know they was tight. You know they were like, no, don't turn it off now. I missed it. Politics is built on a foundation of equity for all people. Now, I know that we are trying to undermine that for blacks and browns and LGBTQ and women and all sorts of disenfranchised communities here in the state of Oklahoma. But while we are here as white men in this office, we all deserve to see the naked women.
After reading the claims, Speaker of the House Kyle Hilbert called for an immediate investigation and released a statement saying, quote, "These are serious allegations made by 2 members of the state board, and an expeditious third-party review is warranted. I urge the state superintendent to unlock and turn over all relevant devices and fully cooperate with an investigation. If no wrongdoing occurred, a prompt and transparent review should quickly clear his name." Fox 23 reached out to Walters, who says the board members are appointees of Governor Kevin Stitt, who just this year became his political foe, and redid the makeup of the Board of Education. Walters says the two had a fight over green energy policy. Stitt says the board needs to focus more on reading and math. Walters said on the allegations, quote, "Some of these board members are blatantly dishonest and cannot hide their political agenda. It is disappointing that they are more interested in creating distractions than getting work done for Oklahoma families."
Now, typically with stories of this nature, I proceed with a little bit of a softer hand as somebody that has been some places and seen some things. I don't like to be the one passing judgment in this particular lane. However, I have no qualms about giving Ryan Walters all of the smoke because, quite frankly, as I told our researcher, Regina, as we were preparing for this particular story, I owed you one. The fact that I ain't done a video about you until now is a crime against nature. Yes, the same kind of thing that they saw on them TV screens. But I got time today. This is the same guy who was pushing Trumpism into the schools. In a video recorded days after Trump won the 2024 presidential election, Ryan Walters sat behind a desk, stared into a camera, and instructed Oklahoma students to join him in a prayer for Trump after a preamble accusing the radical left of attacking religious liberty and woke teachers unions, mocking patriotism, and installing a hatred of America in students. Walters, the Oklahoma State Superintendent of Public Instruction, bows his head in prayer. Yes, he said all of that and then engaged in prayer with students. Dear God, thank you for all the blessings you have given our country. I pray that our leaders make the right decision. I pray in particular for President Donald Trump and his team as they continue to bring about change in this country. In the video, Walters tells students they don't have to join him, but an email to all public schools in the state says his office is requiring all of Oklahoma schools to play the attached video to all kids that are enrolled.
We are excited to announce a new office here in the Oklahoma State Department of Education. That will be the Office of Religious Liberty and Patriotism. For too long in this country, we've seen the radical left attack individuals' religious liberty in our schools. We will not tolerate that in Oklahoma. Your religious liberties will be protected. We have also seen patriotism mocked and a hatred for this country pushed by woke teachers' unions. We will not tolerate that in any school in Oklahoma. We want our students to be patriotic. We want our students to love this country. And we want all students' religious liberty to be protected. I will now say a prayer. And to be clear, students, you don't have to join. But if you so wish, I'm going to go ahead and pray. Dear God, thank you for all the blessings you've given our country. I pray for our leaders to make the right decisions. I pray in particular for President Donald Trump and his team as they continue to bring about change to the country. I pray for our parents, teachers, and kids that they get the best education possible and live high-quality lives. I also pray that we continue to teach love of country to our young people and that our students understand what makes America great and that they continue to love this country. Amen.
Since winning statewide election in 2022, Walters oversees a system in which he believes schools have developed into terrorist training camps to combat what he believes a left-wing plot to rewrite history. He mandated copies of the Bible and 10 Commandments in all classrooms with immediate and strict compliance. He labeled the teachers union a terrorist organization and threatened to suspend licenses for woke teachers. And if you think that's a joke,
Oklahoma, come to the front. I haven't even been home for 24 hours, and Sooners, you got my heart rate and my blood pressure soaring. Oklahoma, you have just announced that you are going to make your teachers take a woke teacher test. No, that's not satire. That's what the test is called, the woke teacher test. Superintendent Ryan Walters, who we all adore and love, he has now said that any teacher coming from a woke state like California or New York must pass a special ideology test before that teacher may teach in his state of Oklahoma. So what's on this test? Is there teacher skills and how you would use them within the classroom on this test? No, absolutely not. So I bet this test has some sort of way to see if these teachers are qualified to teach diverse learners. No, absolutely not. So if this test isn't about if you are a qualified teacher and you can take those skills and apply them to diverse learners to help them succeed in areas like math and reading, then what exactly is this test about? I'm so happy you asked. This test is about 3 things. 1, American exceptionalism. Are you willing to teach the curriculum as deemed fit by Ryan Walters? That's American history. Are you willing to whitewash American history so that you can teach in the state of Oklahoma? This is about the U.S. Constitution. Are you willing to teach the U.S. Constitution as deemed fit by this presidency and Ryan Walters? And 3, are you willing to affirm that boys should act one way and girls should act another way, as deemed fit by Ryan Walters? Let's be for real right now. This test is not about whether or not you are a qualified teacher. This test is seeing, do you align politically with the administration or not? If you do not align politically, you are not going to get a job. Parents, let that sink in. This test isn't just bizarre, it's dangerous. It is not screening for the quality of the teacher, it is screening for the loyalty of the teacher. This is not public education. This is a loyalty test to the president. We are rolling out this test with just a week or so before school, which means teachers who have already accepted a position might not pass this woke test. Parents, if it's happening in Oklahoma, it's creeping into a backyard near you. You better open your eyeballs and pay attention. Have a good day.
He appointed far-right social media personality Chaya Raichik, who runs Libs of TikTok, to a state library committee. Under his watch, the state approved the nation's first ever Catholic public charter school, which the state's highest court determined was an unconstitutional slippery slope of infringement of the First Amendment. The U.S. Supreme Court will now decide whether it can stand. And yes, that is whether or not he or any of his fellow board members are able to stand after that video played. This just gets worse. Last month, he ushered through sweeping changes to academic standards that introduced 2020 election conspiracy theories into school curriculums. No, that's not a lie. From Democracy Docket, Oklahoma set to teach Trump's election lies in public schools as parents and teachers push back. Starting this fall, Oklahoma high school students will be expected to study so-called discrepancies from the 2020 presidential election, essentially conspiracy theories about a stolen election that have been thoroughly discredited by courts and President Donald Trump's own Department of Justice. Under new social studies standards approved by the Oklahoma State Board of Education in February, teachers will be directed to present these election falsehoods as topics for legitimate debate.
Why would you want Oklahoma students exposed to thoroughly debunked election conspiracy theories in the classroom?
Well, look, I've seen all those headlines too, and you know, here's the reality. Look, President Trump should have won the 2020 election. You know, you look at things like the ballot dumps, you look at the mail-in ballots, you look at the voter fraud, you look at the manipulation by the media in foreign countries, and look, what we've got in the standards are facts. We want critical thinking students, we want critical thinking Americans. We want them to look at the data, look at the statistics, and come to their own conclusion. We're not going to allow the left to force a narrative onto our kids, and so that's what we've
created. This isn't a
narrative
from the left, Mr. Walters. These are claims that failed time and time again in courts of law. People who I'm sure you know had the opportunity to bring quality evidence in front of judges, and they failed. So why would you want students to spend time on that?
Well, look, your own station reported some of the fraud. Your own station reported the batch dumps late at night. Look, it's about the facts, and they can come to their own conclusion. The students can look at these facts and say what happened in the election of 2020. But what we're not going to do is allow left-wing activists and the teachers' unions to come in and drive a narrative.
Okay. Now, let's do this, Oklahoma, because I feel like trying to relitigate the 2020 election would be essentially going down to the garbage dump and fighting the dogs for scraps. I don't want to spend my time doing that. I will just do this. If the conspiracy theories and debunked narratives coming out of the 2020 election couldn't stand up in any court of law, or even to the flimsiest of investigation by Trump's own Department of Justice. But you want that to be discussed and framed as legitimate in the schools of Oklahoma. What then is the line for what is suitable content there? I just want you to imagine a world in which some of the more, how shall we say, popular and growing opinions and ideas about your orange messiah, Donald Trump, start to enter this world of debate and conversation and being framed as being factual and legitimate. Not necessarily that there has to be a conviction, because you have already laid that groundwork with regards to these conspiracy theories. So naturally, these are things that would be suitable to discuss as factual moving forward.
I never had the privilege of going to his island.
Based on the precedent that you are setting. And also, how about this? How is, since he's taken such an interest in the education system in Oklahoma, how's that going? Huh? What's the scoreboard? Y'all are sports fans. What's the scoreboard looking like on education?
In the same week that it was announced that Oklahoma is now in last place for public education in the nation, Oklahoma's state superintendent of public education got caught watching network.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Last place.
What place now?
Last place.
Let me see this. 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Last place. Last place. This is what y'all want to spend time doing.
Caught by 2 members of his own Board of Education during a board meeting. So let me get this straight. Ryan Walters, the guy who has built his entire political brand on yelling about corn in schools, allegedly had actual corn playing on a TV in his government office during a state Board of Education meeting. If irony were a felony, this man would be on death row. This is the same week that Oklahoma dropped to 50th in the nation for public education. We are officially the worst. While every other state is sprinting, Oklahoma is licking the windows on the short bus.
Touche on her use of casting couch. And I'm pretty sure that lady was licking windows too when she was on it. I think pretty sure that's what that was. Now naturally, given the Trumpish responses that we have seen from him with regards to this issue, certainly he'll take zero accountability for them being last in education, right?
Sure. So let's take a look at that question. Again, K4 gets it fundamentally wrong, which at least you're consistent of being wrong. So we are not in the bottom of education. We've continued to see dramatic increases in Oklahoma City and Tulsa. I know y'all don't care to report facts. Facts are stubborn. Hey, look, K4, I got it. You're fake news. I got you. That K4 will consistently report lies, and I'm going to consistently call you out on those. So thank you for the question. Again, you couldn't be more wrong. You guys are always wrong, and Oklahoma taxpayers are tired of it. They're tired of your lies. They are tired of the media not putting a spotlight on an issue like the budget. K4 doesn't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about the amounts, the cost to taxpayers. They don't care. And so, folks, I gave you a question. You don't like my answer. But that's okay. So what you're going to continue to see is fake news like K4 try to cover up the major issues facing American families. Oklahoma families, do you want more money in your pocket or not? Do you want your income taxed? I think the answer is no. I hear it every day. Do you want your property taxed for the rest of your life? I think the answer is no. So I'm going to continue to fight against lobbyists, special interest, fake news media outlets, and I will continue to defend the people of Oklahoma unapologetically.
Now, notably missing from all of those words that he gave us was disproving that Oklahoma was last in education. In fact, I would say by virtue of the response you gave to that question, and that is what you decide to serve to the taxpayers of Oklahoma, you pretty much verified that they are last in education, that they would accept something like that. And by the way, to the taxpayers of Oklahoma, glad you're paying attention now, wondering where your money might be going to the education system that's coming in 50th. Yes, Ryan Walters is a hypocrite who got Oklahoma to spend $3 million on Trump Bibles for classrooms. Did you know he was paid $120,000 by a nonprofit that was lobbying for school privatization while receiving a full-time salary as superintendent of education? Also a crook.
Ryan Walters just sent out a letter to Oklahoma parents, and it's got some wild claims in it. This is an official letter from the Oklahoma State Department of Education. Not a campaign ad, not a political newsletter. This is what's being sent to parents. He accuses public schools of promoting an anti-American, anti-Semitic, and anti-family agenda without a single example or citation.
We're still going to move forward. If I see a teacher that's indoctrinating kids, they're going to be out of the classroom. They can go do something else, but they're not going to indoctrinate our kids. We had to eliminate the left-wing biases. We had to eliminate the influence of the teachers union that have driven education down the tubes.
Then he claims teachers are using classrooms for political activism, while he himself is promoting a private school called American Virtual Academy that promises a patriotic education. This is part of Walter's bigger plan, to gut public education and push kids into far-right, politically controlled programs, all while your tax dollars are funding it. And yes, this private online school would be funded through the state's new voucher system, even though you already paid taxes for public schools. Whether you agree with his politics or not, this is not how public education should work. Our school system shouldn't be weaponized for personal ideology. Parents, educators, voters, if you're not watching Ryan Walters, you need to start now. Because he's not just changing education, he's trying to rewrite what it means to be educated. Follow for more breakdowns on Oklahoma, because what happens here affects us all.
As long as to be educated doesn't reach a critical mass and ask some very uncomfortable questions about what's going on in the Oklahoma education system.
State Superintendent Ryan Walters defended his new partnership today with the American Virtual Academy.
That is focused on promoting patriotism and American values into the school system.
The school is based in Arizona and owned by a group that runs another school that state officials want to get rid of.
This particular school is not doing well in Arizona.
This is not a school, the same school in Arizona that they've been referencing. This is a different school with a different mission, completely different missions, completely different setup, completely different governance structure.
But the board's biggest problem was with how Oklahoma entered this partnership without their say.
But entering into a partnership, I'm asking, would that come before the board?
No, sir.
Okay, can you provide legal reasons why that would not come before the board?
The board's attorneys are looking into these concerns, and after the meeting, Superintendent Walters told me he needs his board in lockstep with him and the governor who appointed them when it comes to school choice.
But you saw a board today that didn't want more school choice options for our kids, so they need to go have a conversation with the governor and figure out why they're so out of step with him. If he changed his mind, I think he needs to address that.
Yes. I believe the governor might want to change his mind. And that kind of smoke being thrown at the people that were in the room while you were broadcasting brazzers doesn't exactly lend itself to cooperation or protection. Certainly not from them. And given the smugness that you have taken towards this entire operation, they finna drag you. The Oklahoma school superintendent, a religious extremist, is in hot water after having corn on a screen during a meeting. I know separation of church and state was never going to happen with this guy, but I assume we'd at least get separation of school meetings and the hub. Oklahoma has had a rough couple weeks. Their school superintendent was busted with corn on his work computer. Their school system was ranked 50th in the nation in education quality. And the plumber they elected to the Senate decided to become a vocal protector of PDFs. So when I said that Ryan Walters was very Trumpy in his response to this, he was Trumpy before too.
I never had the privilege of going to his island.
Oh, look, Mike Lee just introduced a bill to make all corn a federal crime. Mike Lee lost at least half a MAGA with this bill, including Education Superintendent Ryan Walters of Oklahoma. Wait until he finds out that OnlyFans does not mean air conditioning is prohibited. I like how we just associate Ryan Walters whenever this comes up. Yeah, because that's what he would do. You know what I mean? That's exactly what he, it's the left crazy. That's exactly what he, out of respect for Ryan Walters, it would be wrong if we ever disassociated him from this. Well done. And to Oklahoma, this your man's? Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe on the way out. And be sure to send me an email at admin@reesewaters.com if you have any suggestions for content.
Stop it. Get some help.
And so many of you have responded when I put out the call to action for people that were interested in participating in my lives. I said, if you have something you would like to share with the class, you're working on a project, or you're a member of a group that you feel like would be of interest to this community. City boy! City boy! I want to hear from you because I got room on my Tuesday night lives. That's Tuesday at 8 p.m., by the way, every single week. I am looking for more. So if you would like to share with the class, go ahead and hit me up at admin@reesewaters.com. while you're at it, those of you that have subscribed to my other channel, Way of Waters, I first want to send out a very solemn my bad. It's been a minute, and I know that it's been a minute.
It's been 84 years.
I have let perfection stand in the way of progress, which would actually be a really good video. I should probably record that as soon as I'm finished here. But in me trying to conceptualize exactly what I want to do there and what it's going to look like, I've been stuck in neutral, and I haven't been putting out all of the stuff that's been floating in my head that I desperately want to share. Well, I'm going to stop that.
Nobody believes in you. What are you prepared to do about it?
And I think the way to do so is by working with other people. So I'm putting the call out to you guys. Again, that channel at Way of Waters is really about meditation and mindfulness and protecting your peace. If that's of interest to you, and especially if you have experience in that field or expertise you would like to impart, I'm looking for potential guests as well as even partners on that particular channel. So check out Way of Waters and hit me up at admin@reesewaters.com. And in the meantime, make sure you protect your peace. Take care of yourselves and each other.
Police! 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 Help! Police! Help!
I got that from Springer, didn't I? To think all the things that I would have taken from Jerry Springer, because that certainly wasn't what I watched it for.
What street corner can I find you on?